You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Hello, welcome to Japanese. I'm your host Akiko Taima, a food writer and the director of the New York Japanese Culinary Academy, which promotes a deeper understanding of Japanese cuisine in America. We are broadcasting live from Brooklyn, New York. This show is all about Japanese food and food culture. We see sushi at every day on a supermarket, but what is beyond sushi? We hear dashi ramen izakaya, but what exactly are they? Japanese food is still mystery for many people, and I try to demystify it in this program with my guests. And my guest today is Hiro Maheroma, who is the chef and the founder of Hilo Beverly Hills in Los Angeles, California. And growing up in Hawaii under Japanese and Hawaiian parents, Hiro has a unique yet authentic sushi-making philosophy. And the moment you step into his restaurant, you will feel its bright, warm hospitality. And the combination of the two makes the restaurant very popular among sushi lovers and Hollywood celebrities alike. So today we'll discuss how Chef Hilo studied traditional Edomae sushi in Hawaii, Japan, and California, his earnest efforts to pursue deliciousness, such as controlling the pH of his water for his sushi rice, and his principle of pairing sushi and wine, and much, much more. But before we start, Japanese is available on Heritage Radio Network website, as well as on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify as a podcast. So please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, whichever you listen to, and subscribe to Japanese. And please write a review. We truly appreciate your feedback. Now, let's start a conversation with Hiro Maherona. Hello, Hiro-san. Welcome to the show.
Hi, konnichiwa, Akiko-san.
So this is very exciting. I know who you are, and I'm looking forward to sharing your happy personality with everybody listening. So to get to know you, you're from Maui Island of Hawaii. So what did you eat when you grew up?
Yeah, growing up in Hawaii, I would say it's very different than from mainland because really, island, we're 4,000 miles away from Japan or 4,000 miles from California. So we got surrounded with ocean, mainly seafood. We catch a lot of own seafood. Japanese dishes we have from the family, but the Hawaiian dishes also. We have lau lau, lomi nomi, like poi familiar that with the substitute with the rice. Also lokomoko, like a beef patty on top of rice. So there's a lot of the Asian and Hawaiian combined together to make it to the island food.
Right. So
Yeah,
sounds like a very classic, beautiful Hawaiian local cuisine,
that's right. It's
right?
true.
And then how did you get into cooking and more specifically sushi?
Getting into cooking, I guess because I'm just always hungry.
Me too.
When you're a kid and live in the island, just running around with other kids all the time, just constantly hungry. What we always try to catch everything that from the sea or from the land and just start cooking them. Somehow I'm always end up cooking among all the childhood friends. So we catch a lot of fish. We do barbecue. I brought in a lot of the family skill and start making sashimi and
Mm,
and taking all the wasabi and soy sauce from home and sharing with all my friends.
wow.
Yeah, and that's how I end up because the family.
Wow. It's like a DNA. So, but how did you, formally study sushi? Because obviously you were one of the best sushi restaurants in California. So how did you study sushi?
Family really introduced me to sushi, and unfortunately, that really lucky. I have an uncle that owned restaurant in California, and I remember correctly, they started since 1972 in California.
Mm.
Kind of the first pioneer to come into opening the restaurants.
Wow.
Down the road, and I got a chance to visit my uncle in California, and I just put me to work. I just, I saw the sukiyaki and yoshinabe, and I just want to learn all that and just put me in the kitchen.
Mm.
And at that time, it's just for fun. It's just running around. The whole restaurant just loved me. little kid running. No one really give me a hard time, and and I went back to Hawaii, and I told my mom, I said, I I don't think school is for me. I gotta go. My mom
Mm.
said, "Where you want to go?" I said, "I want to go to Los Angeles. I want to cook with Uncle." That's how all started it. And they had a conversations, and I learned that my uncle was the same thing. 16 years old from Hiroshima, moved to Tokyo and learned how to cook. So they truly believe that after the education, it's too late to learn how to be a chef.
Mm.
So I was age 14, and somehow they have that agreement say, go ahead and just keep up with reading, stay with the homeschool, and cook much as you want. So I left.
Mm. Well, yeah, sounds like back then, like the French culinary education also. I'm not sure in European situation, but I heard like they have earlier options rather than passing exams. You really have a clear vision towards the future at a younger age in Europe in a traditional training, and it sounds like it's the same way. And yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, so your mother is a Japanese, and then
Correct.
your father is Hawaiian. So you have the great combination of global mindset and it's perfectly fitting for I think Californian culture too. So you stayed with your uncle for
Correct.
many years, and then how did you become such a great chef before you opened Hill Beverly Hills in 2022? What was in between?
Cooking with the family is really blessing and lucky things that I guess because I was young too, so my brain is just like a sponge.
Mm,
And also I have the mindset that don't mind hard work. And also that time I had 4 or 5 chefs that work under him. And I learned that one thing very quick. It's an opportunity to learn from every single chef to get me to another side of funness. Because once you learn the basic and the fun is coming your way.
mm,
Does it make sense? If you're always learning, it's fun to learn, but it's much more fun when you master the basic, like a basic things, how to do things in the kitchen and all that. I had a lot of good time at the restaurants, and down the road, I really want to increase my culinary school. So I did move to New York. I work in New York. I got trained in New York. I went back to California, worked for corporations as a corporate chef.
mm,
And the funny thing, that time, I think I was young too, and the technology just started booming. So as a corporate, they gave me a lot of the corporate account, like MySpace and Yahoo, headquarter. So I got to really cook with international level chef, like
mm,
international culinary chef. That's what I meant. So have French, Italian, because all different nationality end up all in one corporation. Um,
mm.
so that's how I really, really start get into cooking. Yeah, that's how I started it in 2014. 2012, my family retired because they had a great journey into 72.
Mm.
So I took the early package from retirement from a corporate too, and I opened my first restaurant in 2014. That's
Mm.
Omakase. Was just 6 miles away from Beverly Hills.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know, I didn't know you know about it too. I had a restaurant before the Beverly Hills.
I was looking at your information was somehow not so available. So yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, I didn't make sense. What was it? The omakase, your first restaurant was. How many seats did you have?
That time very small. That time I started very small, only a 6 seats.
Hmm.
Yeah, but had a patio and table. That was my first restaurant.
Nice. So then the time went by and you opened the Hilo Beverly Hills in the summer of 2022. So why did you choose Beverly Hills again? Because it was your favorite place as a first location?
Beverly Hills for me, the reason why I choose Beverly Hills, I think Beverly Hills is the place that pushed me to be a better chef, and I really want to cook alongside with other well-known and skilled and passionate chef.
うん。
You have a lot of amazing restaurant in Beverly Hills.
It's a very demanding clientele. And also, I think,
Correct.
yeah, the first, when you worked for your uncle, you really wanted to learn from other chefs. So it's kind of the same environment you're placing yourself in. That makes sense.
Yeah, and Beverly Hills is really the place that I learned make, keeping the chef stay humble.
うん。
It's the place that you have to be humble and constantly just learning and getting the information because the
うん。
clientele have knowledge.
うん。
And if you don't do things right or you don't have your specialty, you will go away fast
う
because
ん。
the expensive real estate. So the other word means very expensive rent.
Right.
Yeah,
So never-ending growth. And also it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
And you have a lot of celebrities too. On I can see on your Instagram you have many photos with those people. And I yeah, do you want to talk about your clients? Who comes to Beverly Hills?
That's also one thing I really enjoy being in the Beverly Hill locations too. I talk a lot as a chef,
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
and I really enjoy every customers too. The clientele is some high profile, some famous, and I'm really happy to enjoy cooking for people that enjoy my food. I always tell a lot of my clients to chef have passions, but on the other side, as customers, should have passion too. Passion
うん。
what we eat. That's how we also met a lot of foodie. At the same time, the clientele come from around the world. Some only maybe come once a lifetime because of birthday or because of the anniversary. Some is from the finance. Yeah, I would say just like clientele in New York. We all share clientele. I don't have my own customer. They all move around. So that's how I see it.
Mm, right. I got lucky to visit your restaurant last this month actually, but yeah, there's a big birthday party and everybody's smiling, and I think that's the vibe. And if you go to sushi counter in Japan as well, the sushi chef really creates the vibe, which I think is very important. It's an experience. It's not just a great sushi. So yeah, I think you've been really successful. I was impressed by that too. So by the way, so what is the concept of Hilo Beverly Hills, and what is your mission at your restaurant?
The omakase menu. So omakase, from my understanding, not just a set menu. For me, set menu just like menu the dia. So for me, it's a custom to cater to individuals' need.
Mm,
That's the omakase to me. So when I was younger, I remember at my family's restaurant, it's already had the omakase, but it's not a formal omakase. So you've got a lot of regular customers will come like, hey, chef, just make me everything that you think is fresh. So
mm,
basically, also we know the other side, what they like, what they dislike.
mm,
From there on, after 3 decades, I mean, I've been doing for this long, over 30 years. The experience, so not just the tastings, it's the overall experience. That's the omakase to me. When you walk out of a restaurant, you want to be feel good, like the Japanese word, like kimchi and tanashi. I think that is the role model for me to run the restaurants.
mm. Right. So the omakase literally means leave it to you, meaning you really have to trust the chef, and the chef has that responsibility to read your mind and remember what you like, or even the first time you really have the communication. That's the real hospitality, omotenashi. So yeah, I think what you do is exactly omotenashi and omakase. So, and when you serve omakase, which what is your principle of composing a sushi course menu?
The principle for me is the concerto, like similar to a classical music, like Sado, that from light to heavy. And
Mm,
then often you go to sushi restaurants that it's not wrong or right, but you was. often seen people order the fatty fish and go back to light will go to like eel go to social crab and go back to halibut. And there's nothing wrong with it, but the experience would change everything that from light to heavy.
うん。
Omakase to me, that's how we also timing. Timing is important. The background music is go along with the omakase, the sushi courses together. So like for ourselves, we have five chapters. So the first chapter like associate. So all the sashimi pairing with different types of sauces. And the second we have the white fish, and the third one would be all the different types of clam, from giant clam to aoyagi, amaebi, and then we have our tuna chapter. So tuna, toro, kamatoro, abuli, and we go on finish like a uni pasta, little bit stronger taste. A5 wagyu. That is the journey.
うん。は
Yeah.
い。Yeah. So that's the flow, and that people feel comfortable mentally and physically. So, right, that's the omakase. So, all right. So we'll take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll dive into Hiro's quest for the highest level of deliciousness, including his meticulous control over the pH of the water for his sushi rice. So please stay with us.
Today's program is brought to you by Korin, a supplier of Japanese chef knives and restaurant supplies. Korin is proud of their Japanese culture and traditions, but they want you to know that their products are not just for Japanese restaurants. Their knives and tableware bring out the best qualities of food from every culture and fit into every restaurant from French to Pan-Asian to American. And that is why they're located in New York City, where people from every country in the world come to eat. Korin's Tribeca showroom is home to the most extensive collection of Japanese chef knives in the world, including Japan. Stop by to view their exquisitely designed tableware and the rarest natural sharpening stones. They have a whole range of knife services from repair and rust removal to reshaping and realigning. Korin is dedicated to this ideal, bringing the highest quality Japanese design to your table so you can experience the unparalleled quality of Japanese craftsmanship in your home or restaurant. For more information, visit Korin.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Japan Eats on HRN Heritage Radio Network. I'm your host, Akiko Katema, and my guest today is Hiro Maherona, who is the chef and the founder of Hiro Berry House, which is a super popular spot among sushi lovers and Hollywood celebrities alike. So you use sushi rice, Yuki Tsubaki, which is a koshikari variety. And why did you choose that specific rice?
Yuki Tsubaki from Niigata, Japan. I have so many good rice. Don't get it wrong, there's lots of good rice out there, but Yuki Tsubaki just really stood out. Every time I took a bite of Yuki Tsubaki, it's give me chill.
Oh,
Yeah, it because the sweetness, the density, it just something that incorporate with my sushi, with piece of raw fish, and the great combination, it just amazing. But for the technical, because the koshigari rice is less than 0.003%, and they grow in the Ononoma, Niigata, Japan. And the way the polishings take 3 times longer compared to other sushi rice in that category of sushi rice. It's 3 times longer. I mean, it's the some craftsmanship there. And the textures, the texture is a 0.77 to like 0.87 gram of the density. For what we were doing with that density and that umami of the rice, it's just a perfect fit. It's just a perfect fit. I can't deny there.
right. So the more you polish, this will get only to the core, which is a starch, and then it creates sweetness and also probably softer than, the less polished rice, and you can really showcase what used for neta, the sushi on top of the fish on top of the rice. So, yeah, and then another contribution you make to the deliciousness, you use water at 8.5 pH for drinking and cooking. So why 8.5 pH for everything you use?
The 8.5 pH is oh, you here remember what we
Yeah.
when we do that. You're amazing. So let's make you really special. So we 8.5 pH. This is the alkaline water we even using for rinsing the rice, not
Mm,
just for cooking, because I believe every little ingredient change will make a
mm,
difference as well.
right.
And rinsing processing because the dehydration of the rice once they in touch with any liquid, that's the first thing they observe the liquid. So we use an alkaline water 8.5 is is bringing the sweetness of the rice. When you get to like 9.0, somehow the water get slightly bitter.
Hmm.
Yes, and when they're too low up the pH, it's acidic water.
Hmm.
Um, for cooking, it might don't make too much a difference because you put sauces, you have something to cover that taste that not supposed to. But for rice, it's so pure that
Hmm.
the water, the 8.5, is really, really, really specific for me that I really enjoy using that because they come from like 1458 feet underground water. And it's been around for 700 years. So yeah, from Bordeaux. So on the other word, like you put hard fire and soft fire to make the rice also different impact, whereas
Hmm.
the electric to cook the rice.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
don't do any kind of fusion style sushi because you want to make the most of that purity of ingredients like rice or water. So yeah, that's very impressive. And also, you use fish that cannot be found in other sushi restaurants, and some fish from Hawaii, of course. So how do you procure your fish? And it doesn't seem only from the Toyosu market in Japan, right?
Oh no, yes. There, Japanese fish is great too. I do enjoy a lot of Japanese. Those are silverfish. Um, but I really enjoy much more different fishes too. So I at first I divided the every single category of the fish, and I start seeking it and studying it because myself also a foodie. I'm really foodie on myself, and every time I taste something, can I find other ingredient or would taste better or
Mm,
have better story behind? So, and I have been in the industry for so long that fortunately, the son of the fishman, now is running the company, and myself also have my own dojo. So those many years of the relationship with them, so they're really happy, they're part of my journey, and that they've been really supportive. And
mm.
sometimes we can be on the phone and just talk about fish for hours and on the other side of the world. I'm
I
like,
could imagine you doing it.
and
Wow.
I feel like we can talk about it, and then yeah, and so that's how I also learn so much. Is the seeking for help is not a bad thing. Sometimes that's what they do by listening to them and just asking questions. They're so helpful. People in the world they're so eager to help you. Just don't
Mm.
hesitate to ask, help me. I want to know more.
Mm. Well, and then by doing so, you are really helping, the vendors as well as, of course, nature, right? Because you just don't stick with the same old. People don't want to consume the same thing, although a lot of the Western market tend to do that. So I think it's really a sustainable thing, and you can keep talking on the phone with the fisherman for hours, which contributes to the sustainable world situation. So, okay, so you have a very strong background in both Japanese and Hawaiian. So, what are you proud of most about being Hawaiian, and how do you incorporate it in your sushi?
Uh, oh, yes, tough questions. Being Hawaiian, understand and respect the nature. I think that is the big take for me. Early on, that understanding and respect and the nature. It's just down the road when I learned the Japanese, as being a shokunin, like the chef, how we prepare, how we respect. If I remember correctly, we have what, 300 different gods. Like we have rice god, we have all the ingredient we use. We learned it to respect,
Mm.
and also the hospitality. Because in Hawaiian we have the aloha spirits like love and compassion, and love what we do is very important, and showcase love in cooking and really make taste different whatever you present to the consumer.
Mm.
In Japanese culture, and have very strong focus, respect, and attention to details.
Mm.
I think who I am today because the combination of really hospitable, love, compassion, focus, respect, attention, and detail, as such a more so in the omakase world.
Mm.
I think that's how the perfect describe the omakase chef is a little bit different than just a sushi chef, right?
Mm.
More than just a job.
Right.
It's a passion. Yeah, yeah. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Right. And when I started to counter, I felt like, it's part of your kind of like a little world of Hiro, in a good way, inviting guests to that of comfortable place. And you serve great sushi, of course, but also you try to read the air, read the guest's mind, and try to make it comfortable and fun. And just when you leave the door, you are the happier person. That was the feeling I really thought you're offering. So that's the essence of omakase. And I think, the Japanese and Hawaiian mindset, we are lucky to be alive in this big world of nature. And instead of, in some countries, nature is something to conquer. I mean, of
Right.
course, understanding like it's a really history of hardships, and you have to conquer it. Otherwise, you're gonna die. But the mindset is a little different. So, yeah, you don't have to conquer. You just have to be comfortable being nature and live with it. And that's really the essence of this hospitality. You just surrender in a good way, and that's what make feeling comfortable and also peaceful. So I think that's what you offer to your customers.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I mean, yeah, yeah. You nail it. It's the truth. That's how we see things.
Right. Okay, and another uniqueness of your restaurant is outstanding selections of wine and sake. So, what are your principles for pairing sushi and beverages? And I'm particularly curious about your beautiful wine and sushi pairings. What's your principles?
The principle, they're both rather, like wine and sake, should be taking away the celebrating, the sentimental every single delicious sashimi or sushi dishes. Should be elevating it.
Hmm.
If you're not elevating it, mean that beverage is too much for your cooking.
Mm.
So easy way to put it, most people are understanding, okay, white wine is pairing with seafood, red wine for the steak, the red wine will be too much for the seafood. So that is the principle.
Mm.
But to elevate it, mean also a lot of unique wine out there that the craftsmanship behind the master can also pairing with the chef tastings.
Mm.
I often to urge my client have a bite first. Let's say we're having hilame, the halibut. So what we did with halibut with Maya lemon, yuzu citrus. So have little citrusy in there. So when you first bite to it, and you have that umami and the sushi taste. But I would urge everyone that 95% the process, and then start tasting the wine or the sake, the beverage that we are or yourself choosing, and you will have the second tasting because that umami with the sushi and the wine or sake now it start pairing.
Mm.
So one bite you have two tastings.
Mm.
Instead of you finish your bite and then you have a sip of your drink. So that not quite pairing it. So yeah, that's how from 24 courses now you became 58
Mm.
because of the wine and sake pairing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to have that perfect wine list at the sushi restaurant along with the really beautiful sake list. So I always wonder, if we don't think of any labels or names and just pour just the liquid in wine glasses, in the same glasses, people might really have different impression about each taste, sake or wine. You just don't distinguish them, just the delicious pairings. And one plus one can be the three with the synergy of that you're talking about, the combination of two tastes. So yeah, I was very impressed on your list. And also, I think we really don't know. We haven't tried enough with sushi and wine or sushi and sake pairings. Even sake has diverse taste and the temperature being served. So it's really fun that there's some place like yours offering good opportunities to play with beverage and sushi pairings, and then we can really expand the dinner experience to the next level. So yeah, I really admire what you do. So, so also at Hillberry Hills, guests are often smiling or even laughing thanks to your great sense of humor. So, and I think that pleasant vibe creates a terrific, you know, information of how you have to be living your life, right, in a way. And I'm sure people come to your restaurant for that too. So, how did you acquire that sense of humor? Was you born with it, or that's something you naturally acquired?
I I I I think it's natural. Naturally, I yeah, I quite often people asking me that questions too, and I give you the true fact. So how my brain worked, and I have very like cartoon. Everything I have in my brain is everything is like animation character cartoon.
Mm.
So everything for me is funny,
Ah.
and I'm very visually in my one side to bring anything you said, and boom, it just I have cartoon in my head.
Hmm.
And with that personality, and sometimes I just don't even know how to be serious. Even though I'm serious, I'm funny, but doesn't mean I'm not serious. And referring, I mean, for the experience being in the sushi restaurants, even to the 70, 80, in the 90s, it's not like the French restaurant, always so quiet. You cannot talk. The chef is getting mad. Am I doing too much? That not supposed to. Should be fun and enjoy. Even like
Mm.
the Edomites style, for my understanding back then, even using all the fish from the Tokyo Bay, and customer going in, they clean their fingers tip to the loren,
Mm.
the piece of fabric that between the restaurant and outdoor. So more dirtier of that loren is representing the restaurant have high traffic and
Mm.
popularity and busier for the chef. And that's fundamental, and the philosophy and law of the beginning of sushi is having fun. Everyone coming in to enjoy, not really stuffy or try to be high end, I would say. And that's why people sitting in a sushi bar, right? Sit at a bar, enjoy, communicate, the one that leads to you, the chef, the staff. And I really enjoy that environment. And I think that environment should be including in the whole omakase experience.
Mm.
And so joke around, having fun is relaxation for the clientele as well. That way everyone can really consume the best of the taste and that the chef provide. And I remember one of the study when I was younger is the environment, the happiness, and also the decorations, the presentation, and your body naturally will absorb 20 more percent of the nutrition from it.
Mm.
So
Wow.
it does beneficial to it. Also in vitamin, your body's rejecting it. I
Mm.
hope I answer your questions.
Well, I got healthier after I had a dinner at your place. Yeah, but it's funny that there's a gap between how serious your sushi is and also the vibe you create. I think that gap is really pleasant. And yeah, so you have witnessed the transition of sushi culture in America throughout your career. So how do you describe the change over time and how do you envision the future of sushi in America?
The future is America. I think the future of America is bright. It's yeah. I mean, when the first in America has sushi, it's only Japanese. We don't have much Japanese here as a chef, so now some Asian to start making sushi and learning about the sushi restaurant, and from there on, and now have a different nationality. I think the word omakase really opened up the door. Really opened the door for between New York and Los Angeles because all nationality, all the young chefs, they don't have to be Japanese, and they can have their creative side and with their the the background of the culture. So I would see more and more the proud of who they are and opening their own restaurants. Because back then, even I'm sorry to say, and back then you still have different nationality try to open the restaurant. They claim as a Japanese restaurants, right? Just refrain. Sorry, audience, listener. But now, and I see the future. The next 10 years would be more like omakase or sushi restaurant owned by Korean, owned by Thai, owned by Cambodian, and they would more upfront. They would put their 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 own favor um, of the hometown taste to incorporate with the sushi. That's what I see the future because if you really think about it, you and I see a lot of the foot traffic out there. Look at all the French restaurants too, even all the well-known French restaurants. If you really, really pay attention to a menu, it's a 40% of them is a Japanese ingredient and pretty much a sashimi. They call it
Mm,
kudi, kudo. They use yuzu, they use shiso. Even French has been doing it, and they're getting their Michelin star.
mm. That's an
Uh,
interesting point, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So I think the borders or cultural preconception of which the food is from, I think is falling apart. And I really have met impressive non-Japanese sushi chefs, and some join us on this show too. So yeah, the why sushi has to belong to one culture, right? And by belonging to everywhere globally, sushi is going to thrive. And
absolutely.
right. So, yeah. So, I think definitely you are paving the way to the future of sushi. And so, what are your plans and dreams?
plan, my plan is just remain happy chef.
I don't think you're going to lose that status ever.
Happy chef is very important to me. And do I have a high ambitious? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Um, yeah. When the opportunity come, I would take it, but I'm not trying to pursue it.
Mm,
Um, because I just want to remain to be chef. Sometimes I see a lot of chefs try to do too much, means
mm,
they forget where they come from.
right.
You know, it. I'm just so happy with being in the kitchens. To tell the truth, running the business is not something that I like. I know some
Mm,
chefs they want to be in a chef code and want to be put on a suit as management. For me, I just like to be in the kitchen and doing the little CPA work, advertisement, or all the paperwork. And I'm not a fan. I like being in the kitchen, and
mm,
I rather be a happy chef. So I don't like too much project. because project and plan and taking away my my fun of cooking and divided the chef Hilo, if I should
Mm.
remain in the kitchen. But someone, in the future down the road, hey, you know what, chef, you remain in the kitchen. Let me, you know, be the other side of the hospitality group. If the right person or right company, I would say yes. But for me, I'm not pursued for it. I'm not.
Mm.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
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 so you're grounded, focused, an opportunity knocks the door. You definitely like
yeah.
ride on
But
the
like,
flow and have fun
yeah.
again. And I can see that. Maybe, maybe not. Let's keep me posted. Maybe you can
But
talk about those
I do
things.
have dreams though. I do have dreams though.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. My dreams really try to get involved with the culinary. I want to
Mm.
give back the culinary world, and I remember somewhere I read about you involved with the nonprofits culinary school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something I have in my mind want to do for a long time. The nonprofits, cooking, discover the young ones, because I think school is not for everyone.
Mm.
School is not for everyone, and that the culinary school is too expensive that imbalance when they out of the school they don't find a job like $100,000 a year. It's a take a long time to become weekend night chef. So you got underpaid for a long time before you became a chef. So the non-profit, I think, is important to 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 support the culinary world, to find the new chef that's to give them that tool and chance to fulfill their dream
Mm.
in
Right.
the cooking
Like
world. Yeah,
when you chose your career at a very young age, you need kind of the mindset to support you as a community. I think that's something you can do. Maybe I don't know which form you have very good access to whoever is talented, and I think yeah, I look forward to your updates sometime. And yeah, so where can we find your updates online and on social media?
I guess I am who I am. Very simple. Just Instagram, I think. Instagram. Yeah, if anyone want to get to know how Hilo Beverly Hill doing, Hilo Beverly Hill at Instagram. Pretty much that's all we have.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Interesting. I didn't even have Instagram for that long, and I was the chef like dinosaur. Never advertised, and I don't have any social media. But yes, Hilo Beverly Hill, and Instagram. Um, you can keep in touch with us.
Right. So your happiness attracts people without advertising. I could really think that way.
Thank you so
Right.
much. Thank you
Right.
very much, Akiko-san. Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
having me on your part of your journey on this podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, let's definitely stay in touch. And thanks again for joining us today, Hiro-san.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you behind the scene. Thank you, the listener. And I'm looking forward to talk to you in the future. Maybe I come see you in New York, Akiko-san.
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing you here. And maybe can get like some pop-up or something. That'd be fun to do in New York.
Yes, you will be the first one to know, for sure.
I look forward to the update.
Yes.
Right. So, all right. So, listeners, if you have any questions or comments about the show or suggestions for short topics or guests, please contact us